I am here today to talk about art. Yeah, I know this was already done twice. Started off by the wonderful Teresa, then again picked up by Ruthie. So either you could call me a conformist, or we can just say that I'm merely following in the footsteps of greatness. Let's go with that one. Okay, so, talking about art. The main forms of art, as most of you already heard from my predecessors, is visual arts and I guess writing as an art and the different forms of writing, like poems or prose or all that stuff. And then, of course, music. Music's an art. And now, I guess I want to maybe dive a little deeper on a subtopic that I believe is art. A lot of things were mentioned before. One thing that I think was missing was that food is art. It's my personal belief food is art. I think that food is a subcategory of art, but it falls under many further subcategories of art. Food, in my opinion, is a visual art because it needs to look pretty. It needs to look appetizing. Are you going to put something in your mouth that looks like poop? Probably not. Some people might. I'm not. Let's see. So it needs to be visually pretty. And so it needs to, I guess, like, smell good. You want to smell the aromas of things, and that increases, I guess, your perception of the food and how it looks. If something looks bad or kind of bad, if it smells good, you might be like, I guess I'll try it. And then, of course, taste is a big one. It needs to taste good. The reason why I'm categorizing food and creating food as art is because, like a painter or sculptor, the person who is creating the food is putting themselves into it to convey a message. The message, can vary just like messages with any other medium of art. It can be something along the lines of, I want you to see my skill. This is how hard I can work. Or this is something that's my favorite. It's beautiful. Or this is something, a family tradition. Whenever people bring over something, they're like, oh, yes, it's my grandmother's recipe. You need to look into that and say, well, this is obviously something that means a lot to them. So, I'm going to respect it and try it out. You can have your opinions about it just like you can any other art and be like, oh, yeah, I don't really like it, but I think it was executed well or something. Just like painters and sculptors, again, it takes skill to make food. Well, food that can be portrayed as art. You want everything to be chopped certain ways, or else it's kind of just going to look like stuff thrown together. If you have soup and you're looking in the soup and every little bit of carrot is chopped the exact same size, you're going to think, wow, this person cared enough about me to eat it, wanted me to see that everything was chopped perfectly. I guess possibly not all food is art. I wouldn't say, someone just kind of throwing together a hamburger helper and being like, here you go, kid. That's probably not art. But then again, I don't believe neither is every, form of writing is art. Somebody writes a doctor's note like, blah, 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 was sick for 5 days, excuse them from class. That's writing, but it's not an art. I guess that, all drawing or painting, that's all an art. Even if it's just like a dot or a line, you're still expressing. So, I guess, unless someone proves to me otherwise, I'm gonna say that all, like, painting and sculpting, like, all that's art. Even if people don't agree with the whys or hows, it's still art, just like food. So, back to the food. Oh, this is Stitch. Sorry, I picked him up. Back to the food. Food is art because... I say so. No, not just... Oh, I was talking about why food is art. So food is visual. Food, you taste it. It's probably the only form of art, in my opinion, that you get to lick or chomp on. Oh, and of course, texture. That's... it's more than just taste, it's texture. You don't want something to I mean, if it's not supposed to, like, you don't want to pick up a big steak and eat it and it be like, this is kind of like oatmeal consistency. That probably won't settle well with most people. So consistency is another important of the food. You want that to be pleasing. So I guess, but then again, not all visual arts or I guess even like written art is like it's supposed to be pleasing to everyone. I mean, some people have different tastes, obviously. Just like in food, it's a different taste. So, whereas some people love sushi. Sushi is one of my favorite foods, and that's, I mean, it takes a lot of skill to make it, a lot of preparation. The rice itself, takes a lot of love goes into that. Some people just don't like it. They don't like the consistency of raw fish, and I mean, that's just something different people have to appreciate. And I guess, what I was going to say is, it was mentioned before about performing arts. You know, plays, theater, musicals. Food is also a performing art. I think it falls into that subcategory as well. You are, in fact, if you're cooking and you have other people cooking with you, it's kind of like an orchestra. You all need to play the right notes together. So, you know, if you have two people who need to use the oven, it needs to be on something on the blah-de-blah same temperature so the two things don't burn. Kind of like if you have two people on the percussion and they each need a drum, they don't need to be banging around at different temperatures or rhythms, so that way everything kind of cooks the same. And then, of course, it can also be a solo art, but you still, like, when I cook, it's like it has to flow. You have to time everything, so it's kind of like a song. You know, sometimes you have to pick up the tempo, sometimes you have to bring it down. But then it's also a performing art in that, I mean, just look at television, look at all the different shows. I mean, you're performing a skill. You're performing a skill, so I think it's a performing art because, I mean, you kind of have the flair. Look at different hibachi restaurants, you know, you get to make the little onion ring and set it on fire, and it's a show. Yeah, this is really long. I'm probably going to edit some crap out. But yeah, so I was just going to comment on how I think that food is art and that it fits into a bunch of different categories. And I didn't want people to go away thinking, well, the only artists are sculptors, painters, you know, actors, actresses, singers, songwriters, everyone in those kind of genres, fashion designers, like, you know, your mom could be an artist if she puts a lot of love and care into her food, and yeah, I guess that's what I was just trying to get out. It's out there. Peace.